To order, do the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I need roll call. Joe, do you want to do roll call?
Certainly. Sam Barnoff.
Here.
Sue Bassardi.
Yes.
Rod Charles, absent. Bill Dunn, absent. Dorothy Johnston.
Here.
Chino Malaya.
Here.
Pete Schultz.
Here.
Susan Scher, absent. Regina Woodson.
Here. Okay. And approval of the agenda, but I would like to add a couple things, which would be under new business E and F. The first would be a resignation letter from Bill Dunn. And the second is a application for a position on the board. Now, under normal circumstances, and I had to write this down because this is history, these would be done at two different meetings. And I did check with our attorney today. And normally what you do is you accept the resignation at one meeting and interview and recommend at the next meeting. However, Bill didn't turn in his resignation letter until Friday afternoon, so it did not get on the agenda. And Elgin, on the other hand, did apply back in November, so he's legal as far as that goes. If we do it at two different meetings, what would happen is that we'd accept Bill's letter tonight, then we wouldn't interview Elgin until January, which means that he would not be before the village council meeting until February. So I'll leave it up to the board how they want to do that, whether we do it all, the two things tonight, or whether we do that. And also, according to Bill's letter, he has put down that Elgin has already been appointed to this board, but I just want to make the correction that there are no assigned seats on this board. The only one that really is assigned is the chief executive officer of the village, which is the village council president. But several years ago, the township wanted a seat dedicated to them on the board, and we could not do that. So what we did is we put somebody from the township board, of which Bill was the first one, and he served us very well until his resignation tonight. So what they're doing is that they're, I guess, asking us to continue on with that. But there is no assigned seat for, according to state law, there is no assigned seats. So I just want to get that out there so that we understand. And I've got both letters if you want to pass them. Pass them down there. So, do we want to handle it both tonight? Or what? I'll leave it up to the board to make that decision.
How about we approve the agenda? I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the addition of items E and F. Support.
Okay.
That's Sam. Pete.
Ms. Pete.
Sorry.
We have a motion by
Excuse me.
Gino, supported by Pete. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You can wait.
All in favor?
Aye.
Same sign. Did you want to say anything?
Yeah, did you also have an amendment to discuss the snow removal?
Oh, that's right. Can we add a G under new business, snow removal? If you
No.
guys would amend your motion and support.
I'll go ahead and amend the motion to
I'll
include
amend my
item G.
It would be item G under new business,
Okay. And item G is again, snow removal?
snow removal.
I'll amend my motion to include item G.
And I'll amend my support.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Pose same sign. Okay, next we have the approval of the November 21st regular meeting minutes.
If there's no changes, I'll make a motion to approve them.
I'll support.
Okay, we have a motion by Dorothy, supported by Gino. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Public comment on non-agenda items?
There's one public comment, and that is the introduction of Mr. John Bry, Main Street, Oakland County Coordinator. So this afternoon, John and I spent really the better part of the afternoon together, getting to know one another and getting to know his plans for Main Street, Oakland County, and him learning a bit of our community. We share some similar connections. He is a Ball State University graduate as well, which is my alma mater for my graduate degree, but grew up in Indiana. So I'll let him come to the podium and introduce himself, and tell us a little bit about your experience and Main Street, Oakland County, and all that.
All right. Good morning, or good morning, good evening. I started at 7 this morning, so I'm a little off of my time yet today. Good evening. There we go. As Joe said, my name is John Bry, and started as the Main Street, Oakland County Coordinator coming up on week 2. And I'm just taking it upon myself to go out and start meeting with the different communities, the directors and their boards when possible, and just to see the communities for myself. I have over 20 years experience in Main Street. I know I don't look that young, but 20 years in Main Street and nationally certified in the Main Street program as well. Have been in Joe's position where I've been a downtown manager for several different communities in the Midwest, not in Michigan, however. And then I was also one of the state program coordinators for Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania has so much real estate, it's divided into 2 in terms of Main Street coordination, and I served the eastern half of the state and have done a lot of consulting around the country, including Florida, that I'm kind of missing at the moment. I'll just put on the record there, but glad to be in the area. So I was telling Joe over dinner that I see a lot of opportunities for us at Main Street, Oakland County to become more proactive in terms of working with the communities, in terms of your needs and things that we can do together as a county, promoting the services that are available to all of our communities across the county too, through the coordinating program, and also working with you more closely on the ground in terms of any challenges or issues that you're looking to try to develop, and how we might be able to help you to address some of those items as well. So feel free to contact me at any time through Joe if you have any questions or technical assistance that you might be thinking about through the program as you develop, and we'll see what we can't do to potentially assist you in those areas, and we'll also do hopefully a good job of keeping you informed as to some of the things that we're going to be working on that we hope to offer to all the communities across the county as well, that I think will be of interest. So for the next couple months here, I'm going to be out and about across the county visiting the communities and getting to know them better, but already starting to see some correlations of some opportunities that every community is looking to do that I think we can offer as a county coordinating program to be of help. So looking forward to working with you all. So thanks for having me on today.
Great.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Not going to go home.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Okay, any other public comment? Okay, we have the consent agenda, the executive director's report.
A few activities the past month. It's been really kind of busy. Small Business Saturday, Soup and Sweet Stroll, Main Street Training, and much more. Small Business Saturday, I'm not going to read the report verbatim, but the businesses that I have talked to said that Small Business Saturday was a bigger turnout than last year, and the couple that I talked to reported that they had made even bigger sales than last year, so that's good. It's a nationwide program, and for us to, promote that on our Facebook pages, and I know the Chamber helps promote that as well. This year, the county did their contest thing to help get businesses and shoppers out there as well, so good turnout. The Soup and Sweet Stroll was a great success. The comments I've heard include largest turnout in downtown, wonderful event. Following the event, I've discussed it with a number of the restaurants and business owners, and they all agree that it was a great turnout, positive impact. There's a few items we need to work on, namely the efficiency of selling the tickets and ensuring that there is enough soup. There were some that ran out kind of early, which in talking to those restaurants, it seems that most of them did about 10 gallons worth of soup. Talked to Witches, talked to the Ox. Sam, do you know how many gallons of soup they did at the school?
I don't know exactly, but it was a lot. It was more than last year, so it was fantastic.
And yet we still had, in some cases, soup that was running out kind of early. So that's good. That's a good problem to have. But we still need to, stay on top of it. After expenses, we netted a little over $1,800. And I did receive some questions at the event, where do these ticket sales go? How does all this work? And I told folks this goes right back in the downtown. This allows us to be able to budget for the event for next year. It allows us to budget for new banners, decorations, the Christmas tree lighting, et cetera. Really it's our sponsors that help out too. Oxford Bank for their sponsorship, very thankful for that. Very thankful for the sponsors that Sue reached out to assist with the decorations on the gazebo, and really thank the community for the strong showing. Without the community coming down, braving the cold weather, that event really would not be possible. So the restaurants, thanks to them and the businesses. So almost every board member was there in one capacity or another. So thank you to the board for your participation, whether or not you were in front of your own business or your own organization, serving soups or sweets or whatever. So thank you for that. I think that goes a long ways when we start to talk about our Main Street evaluation and board involvement and so forth. So thank you to Sam for coming to the Main Street training session that we went to in Lansing. 2-day session. They partner with Michigan Main Street, and so we went out there, learned about communication planning, worked through a couple scenarios and so forth. So there's a summary of notes, and if you have any questions or anything like that, happy to entertain those.
Make a motion to receive and file executive director's report.
Second?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by Pete, supported by Sam. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Treasurer's report.
Make a motion to approve the treasurer's report with bills totaling $14,871.97 and the DDA budget spreadsheet which is attached.
Support?
Okay, we have a motion by Pete, supported by Sam. Joe, do you want to do roll call, please?
Darnell,
Yes.
Sardi,
Yes.
Johnston,
Yes.
Malaya,
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes.
Woodson.
Yes.
And just a note on, I know in other meetings, when Ed was treasurer, he'd sometimes include his spreadsheet as well. So if you want to, maybe even Regina can give this update, but I know that the two have been talking, you've been getting some training from him, and, we don't necessarily need that spreadsheet every meeting, because we have this printout here, but we can discuss on how we want to do that for future. Really to ensure that this book, the BSNA book, the village side, is matching the organizational side. But again, thank you for stepping up
Yes.
and being treasurer, and I hope you're feeling better. When I saw
I
you,
am.
when I saw you the other day.
I met with Ed about a week and a half ago, and I think our meeting was about an hour and a half, and he thoroughly went over everything that was involved in the treasurer's report for me to get it updated with the bill runs that Joe sends over. My intent was to have it up to date, because I think it hasn't been updated since.
Probably since Ed left in
Yes,
September or so.
But I was out most of the week last week sick, and so my intent is first quarter, January, I'll have the reports all caught up to date for everyone. And I will bring it to the meeting for January.
Great,
Okay?
very good. And then the code enforcement activity report, they're not, get one done, Joe?
No, it was very short.
Yeah, and I included the police information, but I didn't
Yeah,
have
it's not bad.
the code one, so I probably should have updated the wording there on the agenda for you.
Okay. I just want to, every once in a while, point out on the police report, the number of tickets and everything that are given on Washington and our commercial motor vehicle tickets. The officer is paying for himself. So, I just wanted to point that out. I'll entertain a motion to receive and file.
So moved.
Support?
We have a motion by Gino, supported by Pete. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, new business. Budget amendments, Joe?
There's three budget amendments. We're halfway through the budget for the 2016-17 fiscal year, and there's just a couple of adjustments that do not impact the bottom line of the budget by any means, but these are my three recommendations. Number one, we had to purchase some toner cartridges for the DDA copier. The color cartridges are frankly an astronomical cost, but we do a lot of color printing for our events and so forth. So the recommendation is to move 1,000 from contingency to the office supplies, and that's because, you know, this, I think it's 680 for the toner cartridges. But anyways, that leaves room, it covers what we need to cover, but it leaves room for the office supplies so that the next 6 months or so. And I will note that on some of these, you know, really a lack of experience, and, you know, me being here for a year and a half, you know, still getting a feel. Last year, we just kind of adopted the numbers from the year before, but really when we start getting into the nitty-gritty and growing as an organization, the office supplies will probably grow as well. Same thing with contingency, $500 from contingency to printing and publications. This is pursuant to the DDA Act, that we shall do an annual report that should be published in the local newspaper of general circulation. And we had those numbers, we got them from the audit that was done, and so there was a cost to put that into the local newspaper. So the recommendation is a little more than what the cost of the printing was, but again, that's so that we have some room in there. I anticipate, even as we start to get underway with some discussions of, you know, the M24 project, we may need to put, you know, some advertising like this, or I really shouldn't say advertising, publication like this into Sherman Publishing, again, to let the public know. Lastly, $290 from operating supplies, holiday to advertising. This is really just a shift. You know, these lines are all kind of dedicated to that holiday budget, but the committee felt that we should advertise in print with Sherman Publishing, and there was a cost associated with that. As you may recall from the director's report, you know, after expenses, there was still a $1,800 net on that. So it's just kind of where those lines are kind of budgeted to even things out there. Overall, the impact is on our contingency line item, but there's no negative impact on the budget overall. And the amendments on the events itself, and maybe a recommendation down the road is that events are all kind of lumped in. You know, just a thought when we get to that point, talking about budgeting, maybe, you know, scarecrows one line or whatever. We could talk about that more and the pros and cons to that, so that we're not over in advertising on scarecrow and under on something else. You know, some of those just need to be balanced out a little bit. So any discussion or comments?
And when you take the total of $1,500 from the contingency account, what is the balance going to be? What's the remaining balance in the contingency account? And will that be enough to finish out your budget for the remainder of 2016, 2017?
Get that for you.
Okay. Got it already, Joe? Okay, so it's 16 here.
It should be 14,500 and some change.
That's adequate for the remainder of the year?
Yes,
Okay.
and this is, in years past, we've had a $10,000 contingency, so this year we started with a much
Okay.
larger contingency.
Okay. That was my question.
Okay.
Sue? I would like to make a motion to approve the budget amendments listed in front of us today.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion by Gino, supported by Sam. Joe, do a roll call, please.
Here, Marna.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
Johnston.
Yes.
Malaya.
Yes.
Schultz.
Yes.
Woodson.
Yes.
Okay, next, the approval of the 2017 meeting schedule.
Kind of another housekeeping type thing, you know, this is to get it out to the public, we'll put it on our website, put it up on our bulletin boards of what our meeting schedule is for 2017. Unless I missed a date, those should all be the third Monday of each month.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to
Okay.
approve the 2017 DDA meeting schedule.
I support.
Okay, we have a motion by Gino, supported by Regina. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. 2017 events. Joe?
Yeah, another housekeeping type thing in the sense that a couple of our sponsors really prefer a sponsorship asked by the end of the calendar year. And so it's always good to talk about what events we're going to do for 2016. My recommendation and the recommendation of the promotions committee is to do the three signature events we've already been doing: Concerts in the Park, Scarecrow Festival, and the Soup and Sweet Stroll event. Those are events that we host. Now, there are other events downtown that happen, and you know, we can help facilitate in various ways, but these are the ones where we budget, we ask for sponsorships, we provide the manpower, et cetera. So, again, any comment or questions?
These are for 17,
17, what'd I say?
16.
16, whatever next year is. 17.
I make a motion to approve and adopt the following events for 2017: Concerts in the Park, Scarecrow Festival, and Soup and Sweet Stroll.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion by Pete, supported by Gino. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next thing, Main Street accreditation. Joe?
Yep. In January of this year, we received our Main Street Oakland County end of the year assessment, and we were determined that we were accredited, nationally accredited. There's 10 standards that we met, and we surpassed the year prior by obtaining that accreditation. So we're gearing up for that as well. It's almost a year to the date. Last year, we did it January 13th. This year, working with the Main Street staff, January 12th. So please save the date, and there is a sample agenda that may change depending on, you know, the consultant that Main Street brings in or whatever. So you can see that there, breakfast in the morning with the executive director and the consultant, Main Street staff, meeting with the board chair and board members, meeting with the committees. And what happens at each of these meetings, you might remember from last year, it's about an hour or so. The consultant is there, the Main Street Oakland County folks, John and his crew will be there, and they ask questions based on these criteria, and they determine our I don't want to say worthiness, that's the wrong word, our accreditation level, if you will. And so I'm confident, you know, given what we've done in the last year, you know, our committees are working, we're creating a new task force really around that kind of refresh idea. It's a project-based, you know, the M24 thing. So we've done some work on the training side of things. Our two new board members and our incoming board members will all get some training. And so we're really chugging along. Main Street's all about incremental change. So we're not going to change downtown overnight, but we're going to tweak things and make things better as an organization. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see what new John brings in. And he discussed over dinner the idea that they want to maybe even revamp how they evaluate the communities within the county. So we'll stay tuned for those details. It won't be for this year, obviously, but for future years, that may change just a little bit. So the motion is to encourage participation. I'll leave it to you guys if that motion is even necessary or not. But we really want to get our board, our committee members, elected officials, and volunteers to these meetings so that they can provide input on what we've been doing here locally.
Yeah. Joe, I just have one comment that I wanted to make. It says January 12th, Wednesday. It's actually, Wednesday is January 11th, so that would be a Thursday, it's January 12th for 17. So I just wanted to make note of that.
Which one's that? Oh, that's on the,
Yeah.
yeah, you know what that.
It's not part of the motion, but I just wanted to clarify.
Thursday the 12th.
Okay.
And that's because all I did is go back to the old.
Yeah, Wednesday.
Old agenda and update it from last year. Work smarter, not harder.
I'll entertain a motion.
I will support. I will say motion to encourage participation from the board, committee members, elected officials, and volunteers for 2017 and beyond.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Sam, supported by Dorothy. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, the next thing we have is the letter of resignation from Bill Dunn.
I'll make a motion with regrets to accept the resignation letter from Bill Dunn.
What if we don't? I feel like that right now. You threw me under the bus. No, I'm just kidding.
We have a second?
I'll support that.
Okay. We have a motion by Gino, supported by Pete. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. I did notice a couple things that he's got me as vice chair and he's resigning as secretary, but I believe Susan's secretary.
Yeah.
All right. Next, we have Elgin Nichols, who has applied to fill Bill C.
Hi, I'm Elgin Nichols. I live at 230 Oxford Lake Drive, so I live in the village. I have served on a number of committees and boards in the past. Recently elected as trustee to the township. My background is pretty extensive. I can read it. I have very strong business background. I was a computer design analyst for Dow Corning for a number of years. I went into my own business, had that business for 38 years. Had multiple businesses, actually. Had a advertising production business as well as a TV studio. I have currently a license from the state of Michigan for builders. I had a business going where I would build various buildings and remodeling and so forth up north as one of my businesses. I own an appliance company. Had a pretty sizable service company as well, consisting of about 12 technicians. Had a sales staff of roughly about 15, 20 salespeople, as well as secretarial staff and so forth. Before that, I was in the military. I graduated from Bertrand High School. I was in the U.S. Air Force, served 4 years there, 2 years inactive during Vietnam period. I did go to DeVry School of Technology for electronics, and therefore I kind of fit into a position when I came here in retirement. By the way, this is what retirement looks like. And the job being involving electronics and how to repair things and so forth for the TV studio here in Oxford Community Television. If there's any questions at this point, I'll be glad to field those. I want you to know that my primary concern is with the business downtown. I'm very strong business oriented. I believe that we can make our business stronger. I think we need to work with the people that have these businesses because it's not an easy task today. It's not luck. you better know what you're doing if you're in business today. And I think I can help in some ways in talking to people, because I've run into pitfalls and so forth through my life. So I bring a great deal of experience, to this board. And I think when the trustees looked at this, they did check my background, and they felt that I would be suitable for this position. I would hope that you would agree. Any questions?
Anybody have any questions?
I do.
I have a couple questions. Thank you, Elgin, and thank you for working with us to continue to strengthen our relationship with the township. From your perspective, with all of your experience, what would you say is the biggest challenge to downtown Oxford or for downtown Oxford? And then also, what do you see as our greatest potential?
I think one of the largest challenges that we have is trying to fill these buildings, and I mean, there's so many buildings that are becoming unoccupied for downtown. I don't know if it's because the landlords are increasing their rents or whatever it is, but we need to bring them together. If you have a business that's trying to survive and they continually get more expense put on their backs, it's very difficult for them to make it. That's why you got a big turnover. I believe there's something like 14 business buildings that are vacant. We need to do something about that, no question about it. What do I see in a long-range situation? I would hope that we'll work very close, with the downtown businesses and with the community as well. We have to encourage, as we've done in the past, shopping local. I did this up north in Bay City. It was, as an independent business, and I expanded to 4 locations in a warehouse. And I competed against Home Depot. I competed against Sears Roebuck, and we actually outperformed Sears Roebuck one year. So, but you can do it as an independent if you have the right backing and you get the right direction. I think part of that is marketing and how you sell your downtown. Hopefully I can provide some input for that.
Thank you.
Anything else, Joe?
No.
I'd just like to comment, too, that I've been watching you for a period of time, and I want to say to this board that I believe that you're very fortunate to have Joe. I've had private discussions with him as well. He's very enthusiastic, very intelligent guy. I think we can do a lot together.
Thank you.
Elgin, I just wanted to ask you, I always want to make sure that you've got the time to devote to the DDA, if you're going to work on a committee and do the Main Street education.
Yeah, I don't see any problem with that. I think I'm pretty knowledgeable about Main Street, being on the council and what went on. I understand the financials of the DDA, as you well know. So when they appointed me, from the township level, and I do understand, the mechanics of what needs to be done. That's why I put my application in advance and get your approval. I think it would be very desirable, for me, from a township level, to be here as well, because I do think like you people in the village, because I'm one of you, okay? And I ran with that premise, too, for the township.
Does anybody else have any questions?
I'll make a motion.
And I should say, just to note, it's a motion to recommend to the
Right.
village council.
Thank you, Joe.
For the term expires in 2019, I believe.
I'll make a motion to recommend Elgin Nichols to the DDA board for 2017 through 2019. That'll do?
Does it have to be the village council? Is that what you were saying, Joe?
Yeah, because ultimately, it's the village council that
Right.
makes the appointment. But I believe that's a 4-year term, so,
But he fills Bill's position.
yes,
because Bill has quit.
that's right. So
His
the duration
term
of,
ends in 19.
You're messing me up. So this motion
You did
work or
say it
not?
right. You did say it right.
no, but as we discussed earlier, Sue, we need to take a closer look at those terms.
Those were 3 that we did look at this afternoon.
That's correct, but those were 4-year terms, so 15, 15 to 19, yes, yep,
Thank you.
yep. I'm on the same page.
I thought we would.
Yep, I'm on the same page, yep.
Yeah. Do I have a second?
I would support that.
Okay, we have a motion by Gino, supported by Pete. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. And the last one, snow removal.
Obviously, there's not a memo. This, it came to our attention this morning that there were some snow removal issues along M24. Specifically, a number of businesses reached out to both myself and Joe Young in regards to some of the snowbanks along the curbs and also the large snowbanks at the ends of the on-street parking. So at this time, after Joe and I talked, I know DPW talked as well. DPW crews are coming in tonight at midnight, and they're going to clear those snow banks out of there. And I walk the streets, you know, it's kind of hit or miss. There are some businesses that do an extraordinary job at cleaning their sidewalks and salting and so forth, to the point that Naps, for example, it's, you know, dry pavement. Looks like the middle of summer out there. And then there's others that not so much. So, you know, I did send a communication out via our newsletter list to let everyone know that we're taking a look at this, that DPW is working on it this evening, but also to remind folks that we are in this together and that snow removal is all of our jobs and so forth. So, you know, I don't know if, you know, how many of you have walked the downtown, but I encourage you to do it, you know, once a quarter, once a season, because this downtown is completely different in the summer versus the winter versus the fall and so forth as seasons change. So, I don't know where else I was going with that, other than, you know, we probably want to work with the DPW and the village a little closer on maybe even honing down on what the procedures are. Part of the issue is that DPW crews will clear the on-street parking, and then, you know, MDOT or Road Commission will plow right behind them, and things get blocked in. And so it's an ongoing battle. I know that snow will always be an issue because of where we've chosen to live and have our businesses. But, you know, it's, and I think in our best interest and the village's best interest to try to enhance safety and efficiency as best we can. So that's my thoughts on it. Love to hear the thoughts of the board and really where we can go from here, if anywhere. And maybe a question too is it the role of the DDA, that's economic development and so forth, to maybe get stuck in, I don't want to say stuck in the middle, but get too much involved with aspects of the downtown, like snow removal? Just a thought. So love to hear some thoughts from the board.
I talked to Joe last Friday when I was over here, and I mentioned to him at that time before the next snowstorm to make sure that we, you know, if somebody gets out there and gets it done, because we're starting to pile up pretty high, need to be done. I happened to drive through Metamora and Dryden today. Both of them are small communities, but they were out there today in both those communities, and the sidewalks and curbs 100% were scraped clean. And I mean, it was, makes a huge difference to how the whole community looks that it was done. I know we've had that discussion in the past couple of years about it, but I mean, it changes the whole perception and the outlook of the downtown community when you're talking about walkability and trying to invite everybody, you know, to shop downtown. It's kind of difficult when there's 4 to 5 foot piles of snow and there's a big huge pile along the edge of the sidewalk. So the more often we can get it done, I think the more appealing it does. Also, we need to take a look at that and keep that in mind as we're going forward with the task force and the redesign of the streetscape and everything for the downtown, keeping in mind snow removal as the most important, vital part of that whole design. I know it's nice to have all kinds of planter boxes and shrubs and rows of stuff all planted down through there, but again, when it comes time to snow removal, you've eliminated all your means of being able to do it. So make sure everybody keeps that in mind when we're looking at the design and how it comes about.
Could you heated sidewalks?
It's possible.
I win the lotto.
Is it economically feasible? Probably not. But that's a good thought.
Yeah.
Sue?
I'm sorry, Joe. Go ahead.
Go ahead. You first. Ladies first.
Well, I did get out and walk this afternoon after I talked with Joe. This has been an ongoing problem for several years, conversation about it, and we never seem to get it right or never seem to come up with a solution. I did ask Joe to call around to some other communities and find out what they do. I know that Rochester has something, at least I think they still do, have a program called, I think it's called the Snowflake Program, and the businesses pay into to supplement somebody cleaning their sidewalks. So we need to look at some other areas to pick somebody else's brain and see what other communities are doing. I will say that if you're going to be sitting on the DDA or the village council and you have a business downtown, you need to make sure that your sidewalks are shoveled at least, because I think we need to lead by example. And that goes for the village. I don't think the park sidewalks were done this last snowstorm. So I think that we need to be cognizant of what we are doing too, because if we're going to be trying to ask other people to do, we need to be doing it ourselves. Gino?
And being a recipient of snow into a whole different degree at Oxford Bank, when I was still with the bank, we had full circumference of the bank. And you are correct. As soon as the village would go through, the county would come through, and our sidewalks, Joe can attest to this, it was always an ongoing battle with the sidewalks over there. You'd get the sidewalks done with our contractor, and then maybe there'd be a little more of a snow event, and then they would come and replow and push it back in. My point being that it is difficult, and the sidewalks, in my opinion, probably, I know you guys aren't gonna like this, and I'm not paying your budget, but that should probably be in some of your DPW budget when it comes to the extent of your sidewalk clearing out to M24. Where does it go? When you see the business who pushes their snow out by shovel, then what do they want to push it? They want to push it out onto the street. The next thing that happens is, as soon as that parking spot is available, if there's a parking spot in front, they're gonna plow that back onto the sidewalk edge. So this town has been notorious for having that step over at every business on the east and on the west sides of M24. Another thing I'd like to put in there as a comment, I don't believe that the DDA is a vehicle for enforcement in snow removal. That, you've got the village, you've got the police department. I think the DDA should be focused more on assisting the businesses to find a solution to the walkover or the jump over at the curb. Once again, a snowflake type program or something like that, where maybe the village could pick up snow blowers or a small tractor, as they've done in other small communities. I was involved with that in Leonard at one point in time, where we actually did pick up a little tractor with a blade that could go down. There was very few sidewalks that we had up there, but at least it did get the snow off the sidewalks and assist the businesses. Because there's no answer to this. There really isn't. I mean, I've fought it for years down there with your in code enforcement and things like that. Well, gee, when does my responsibility end? I plow once, I plow twice, or I continuously plow or shovel sidewalks. But if the DPW trucks bring the snow back up over the sidewalk, is that, again, my responsibility as a business owner? I don't believe so. But there has to be some kind of common ground in here somewhere.
But it's the same thing that, and I'll use it personally, where I live. I pay somebody to do my driveway, and half hour later, the DPW plows it shut again.
Absolutely.
And so then, and it's difficult to shovel what they put back there. It's one thing if you're doing it with virgin snow, but it's another thing to be doing it with road. And so every person in the village faces that same thing, and we expect our residents to keep their sidewalks clean. So, and our ordinance officer, he may have to start walking the streets and issuing tickets. But I think that we need to come up with a solution. I'm just not sure what it is. Like Gino, it's been ongoing. Pete?
That's one of my reasonings as far as when we've done the budgets before, as to why I've never said anything about the the amount of service or whatever that we pay for the DPW, that we, the contracted services or whatever that line item is, keeping in mind that that's partly where some of that money comes from, is in that line item. So as far as I'm concerned, I've always supported that line item for the DPW for what they do provide us as far as watering the flowers, the trash cans for all the events and all that kind of stuff. But to me, one of the key items in that budget is the snow removal like this in the wintertime. So that's one item that I've left it alone and, you know, kept the support at the level that it is.
Yeah. So, Ryan?
Ron Rolando, business owner downtown. I think the best answer to the parking lots being cleaned out is a V-plow. To shove it to the end, and then they have to pick it up. It doesn't go on the sidewalk if you use a V-plow. They might have to make a couple of passes rather than just one great big pass because it would flow over the end of it, but I had my neighbor come one day while I was shoveling. He had a V-plow on the front. He says, "You want me to remove that for you?" He pushed it right down to the end, not a bit went on the sidewalk. Not a bit. That keeps it off the sidewalk.
I would support what Ron says. I had the same problem up north. That'll keep it off sidewalk.
Can I ask what a V-plow is?
It-
Or what it looks like?
Back up.
It's a regular plow that actually hinges in the center of it. It can actually be a V, or it can be an angle, or whatever it wants.
Right.
But you can V it out like that, and then it actually carries up everything instead of pushing it off to the sides.
Oh,
Exactly. I noticed when we had the snow, that this guy had this snow blower that was running up and down the street, or the sidewalk. Did you hire him to do that, or did people hire him?
I
'Cause
don't know.
There's
Did we
a
have
couple of
a-
businesses that pay for somebody to do it
Okay. 'Cause it
individually.
was just a small snow blower, and
Yep.
I said, hey, maybe they have somebody that does this, but then I see them all over the different sides of the street. So,
Well, it might be something, and when I was talking with Joe this afternoon, I said it might be something that we have to contract out. I mean, I know, and our DPW did a phenomenal job with both.
Oh, they sure do.
Snows, and they have done for years. However, we have this special circumstance, and it might be something that we have to contract out when we have X amount, like 3 inches or more, that we have somebody come in with a small snow blower that can clear, or a truck, or whatever, that does it when we call and can work it into, you know, their other jobs or something. It might be, I mean, I'm open to anything, and I think we should be looking at all ideas inside and outside the box.
I understand where he's coming from, because a regular plow will throw that snow up on the sidewalk. A V-plow won't do that, and it'll solve that issue, and to my knowledge, they've never used a V-plow here. Have they, Ron?
They don't have one.
Okay, they need to invest in one then. It would solve a lot of this problem. And the other thing is the sidewalks. I understand that the property owner, the business owner, he needs to keep it clear in front of his place. I had several locations, that was my responsibility to do that. So I understand that part. I think Ron does too. Yep. Thank you.
Thanks, Alge. Anybody else have any ideas?
It's a good idea.
I think what we'll do is we'll put this back on the agenda. Can we put it on for January and just continue to have some discussions with in regards to this?
Yes.
Okay. We have no old business. Board member comments? Sam?
None.
Pete?
Good job to Joe orchestrating the entire soup and sweet stroll, and to all the board members that helped on it. Sue, thought it was a great success. Well-run. Community really got behind it this time, and everything was really happy with it, and everything, a lot of good comments. And wish everyone a happy Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Dorothy?
Yep, I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas.
Gina?
Yes. I really enjoyed the soup and sweet stroll. I think I was brought on board kind of like at the last minute. So next year, I really want to be involved in that. It was a lot of fun, even though I was freezing. Like I said, I just wasn't prepared the way I should have had heat warmers in my boots. I don't know. It was just, but it was so much fun, and I thought it was great. It was so festive a way to kick off, you know, the holiday season. So I appreciated that. And yes, Merry Christmas to everyone. And get rest. We work so hard and do so much. Everybody get rest during the holiday too. So get prepared for 2017.
Gino?
Merry Christmas to all. Happy New Year.
Okay.
Make a motion to,
I wanted to just wish everybody Merry Christmas and a safe and Happy New Year, because we won't see each other until after that. I want to echo Pete's thing and the other people who said, Joe, I mean, and the promotions committee. I think we did a phenomenal job with Soup and Sweet Stroll, but I think we did the same thing for Scarecrow, too. I think both events have turned out, but Soup and Sweet was sweet this year. It really was.
Sounds like a slogan for next year.
there you go.
There you go. The Small Business Saturday, I was out and about on that day, and I was shocked at how many people were downtown shopping, and most every store that I went into, all of the retail places were packed and handing out, and I saw those bags all over town people were carrying, so that was a good event this year. And I want to say thank you publicly. I want to acknowledge the people that I got to furnish the lights in the park. I think the park and the gazebo looks so good this year, and I want a special thanks to the DPW, and those guys worked really hard to put all those lights up. I want to thank IMP. They donated money. Ballard International gave money. Steve Stoll through Burdick Street Landscaping gave money. And Peel's Garden Center in Waterford did all the bows for the gazebo. So I just want to say a special thank you to them. And I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Move. Support.
We have a motion by Pete, supported by Gino. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Both same sign.